The Magic Pen. Lucy was a young girl who loved to write stories. She had a big imagination and a lot of ideas. She wanted to share her stories with the world, but she was too shy to show them to anyone. She kept her stories in a notebook that she hid under her bed. One day, she found a pen on the street. It was a shiny silver pen with a blue cap. It looked very nice, so she picked it up and put it in her pocket. She thought maybe she could use it to write her stories. When she got home, she took out the pen and opened her notebook. She started to write a story about a princess who lived in a castle. She wrote, "Once upon a time, there was a princess named Anna. She lived in a big castle with her father, the king. She had everything she wanted, but she was not happy. She wanted to have an adventure and see the world. She was bored of staying in the castle all day." As she wrote, she noticed something strange. The words on the paper started to glow and sparkle. She felt a warm sensation in her hand. She looked at the pen and saw that it was glowing too. She wondered what was happening. She continued to write. One day, she decided to sneak out of the castle. She put on a cloak and a hat and left through a secret door. She walked through the forest and saw many animals and plants. She felt free and happy. She wanted to explore more. As she wrote, she felt a gust of wind blow through her room. She heard a bird chirp outside her window. She smelled the fresh air and the flowers. She looked around and saw that her room had changed. She was no longer in her house. She was in the forest. She realized that the pen was magic. It made her stories come true. She was amazed and scared at the same time. She wondered what would happen next. She continued to write. She came across a river and saw a boat. She decided to get on the boat and sail away. She hoped to find a new land and meet new people. She was curious and excited. She wanted to have fun. As she wrote, she felt the boat move under her feet. She heard the water splash and the wind whistle. She tasted the salt and the sun. She looked around and saw that she was on the river. She was no longer in the forest. She was on the boat. She realized that the pen was very powerful. It could take her anywhere she wanted. She was amazed and happy at the same time. She wondered what would happen next. She continued to write. She sailed for a long time and saw many things. She saw mountains and islands and clouds and stars. She saw dolphins and whales and fish and birds. She saw people and boats and ships and flags. She saw colors and shapes and sounds and smells. She saw the world. As she wrote, she felt the world spin around her. She heard the world sing and laugh. She touched the world, and the world touched her. She looked around and saw that she was everywhere. She was no longer on the boat. She was in the world. She realized that the pen was amazing. It could show her everything she wanted. She was amazed and grateful at the same time. She wondered what would happen next. She decided to write the end of her story. She wrote, "She had a wonderful adventure and learned a lot. She made many friends and had many memories. She was happy and satisfied. She decided to go back to the castle and tell her father everything. She thanked the pen and said goodbye to the world." As she wrote, she felt the world fade away. She heard the world whisper and smile. She kissed the world, and the world kissed her. She looked around and saw that she was back in her room. She was no longer in the world. She was in her house. She looked at the pen and saw that it was not glowing anymore. It was just a normal pen. She wondered if it was all a dream. She opened her notebook and saw that her story was still there. She smiled and closed her notebook. She put the pen on her desk and went to sleep. She had a magic pen and a magic story. She was happy and proud. She decided to show her story to someone the next day. She hoped they would like it. She dreamed of writing more stories with the pen. She dreamed of having more adventures with the world.